read between the lines in case I need it when I'm older. I wanna feel what love is.
One thing I learned early on, no matter how well I play in the tournaments around the world, I cannot hand in a better card than this, the American Express card.
Apply for the American Express card today.
The American Express card, don't leave home without it.
Was driving her husband into work again, this time with an ITN camera in the back. The women were waiting again. This time, paint and oil were thrown over the windscreen. Not all hit the intended target. Inside the plant, Paul Watson cleared the windscreen before leaving his wife to run the gauntlet again.
All the best, then.
This time the reception was even more violent. A stone smashed through the window, hitting the driver. The traffic forced the car to stop. The women took advantage. A rumour that the Watsons' car had stalled had the women chasing up the street. It was now that the first police officer we'd seen passed without stopping. The Watsons' car was covered in paint and oil, no longer safe to drive. The stone that smashed the window still inside.
Joy, we can see the state of
The 1,100 men who've stayed on strike then marched to the pit, although they didn't intend to start work again until Monday.
Ah, what a shame to leave it.
They're damned, I do love them dearly.
The policeman, plus he has a baton with which he can also protect himself, and then of course your helmet, which is for any objects which might be flying in that area.
Station. They were protesting about the apartheid regulation which requires them to carry passbooks, a law still in force today. A state of emergency was declared.
Your mom ain't man.
And all that reminds me that this show is being brought to you by the Animal Welfare Society. And they're appealing to you on behalf of all those unlucky animals in captivity in zoos who are actually wild. Well, of course they're wild. Locked up in cages. Wild. I'd be livid. See? Still got the hat on. I think.
Right, guys, a rough night or what? Rough night? Yeah, it was a bit.
This program consists of interviews.
Усилие, безусловно. Безусловно, усилие страны. С вашей страной бороться трудно.
Не хотелось бы, чтобы такое повторилось.
Эти люди, они не люди будут. Они там поражены будут, люди с этими токами разными. Ну, они там сейчас, ну, все, они и начальство не хранятся не будут. И рядовые не будут. Вот такой, вот так политика. Война будет.
And that looked going for... And I came from the Isle of Wight this morning. And I missed the ferry. I missed it by that much. Look at me, I'm soaking wet. I had to swim the whole way. And that's not a great deal of fun, really, is it? With all the little kiddies leaning over the back pointing and shouting, "Oh, look at the funny fish, Mummy." Bouncing rocks off your head. So now, come on, you tell me. Why?
I've got no idea.
Well, then I'll tell you why. Over the last 10 years, I've written you 6,517 jokes. Not including the one about the gay fish finger. And you haven't used a single one, ever! And you told me to write them!
No, I didn't.
Excuse me? I came to the office!
Actually, you broke into the office.
Oh, so you know who I am now, do you?
Listen, Martin, just forget it, all right? I'm trying to do the show.
Last February, you asked me to go away and write a joke.
I actually asked you to go away.
Yes, but it's the same thing, isn't it? It's words, it's the beginning bit of the sentence. That, look, please, just do that one, please.
Lenny walks on as an Afghan tribesman and says, "Hello, everybody, I'm a goldfish," and then falls over.
It's brilliant! BAFTA!
Martin, it's rubbish.
Ah, yes, that one's rubbish, but this one's brilliant. Do that one, do that one.
Lenny walks on as a Swedish milkman and says, "Hello, everybody, I'm a goldfish," and falls over.
Brilliant, brilliant! Because you're not a goldfish!
Martin, it's rubbish.
Took me 6 months to write that.
Yes, and it's still rubbish.
You don't care about me, do you? You don't care about my car crash.
Martin, you can't drive.
Yes, that's why I crashed the car. Look, I'm on the critical list, Lenny. I've got to have my entire body replaced.
Why?
Because it's dead. Look, ow, 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 it's dead. I can't feel a thing. I've got to go to hospital and have my entire body replaced, Lenny, on Bupa. And I can't afford Bupa because you won't buy any of my jokes.
All right, I'll do your joke.
Wait.
Which one do you want me to...
Don't do those, they're rubbish. Here, do my best joke. Best joke.
Lenny walks on as Trevor McDonald, says, "Hello, everybody, I'm a goldfish," and falls over.
Brilliant! Look, you've got to laugh. Look, do it, do it. Do it, do Martin's joke on the Lenny Henry show.
Hello, everybody.
Action!
Hello, everybody. I'm a goldfish.
Martin, look at them. They didn't like it. They didn't even think it was funny. It was rubbish. It wasn't amusing at all.
Well, can't all be funny, can we, Lenny?
The protest was against the Pope's rulings on contraception and abortion, and the Church's attitude to divorce, women and homosexuals.
Who's eating the pack shot?
No three things are...
Which has meant that the speed limit doesn't work.
On ITN last night came late in the day. Some officers had to jump clear as coaches were driven at speed round a field. When they were halted, police climbed inside to make arrests. The occupants were forced to the ground. 24 people were taken to hospital and those arrested lined up in the road before being marched off. Some of them, too, showed the signs of a fierce battle.
Outside clear the area, both locals and hippies spoke of yesterday's events.
I think I can speak on behalf of all the residents of Amesbury and Durrington.
from the Protestant paramilitaries. This man was knocked unconscious. 5 policemen were also injured. Crowds yelled abuse as the parade made its homeward journey following a church service. Stones were thrown at the marchers. One of them was hit on the head. Today, the police have clashed with Republican protesters, but similar confrontations with loyalists are likely during the big 12th of July parades here. The RU
down protest. As the police moved protesters off the road, trouble broke out again. There were injuries on both sides and arrests, and all this before the Orangemen had even reached the area. By the time the parade had arrived in the district,
the food have enjoyed rides and a nice time with it.
More funerals and more killings today emphasize the intensity of 10 violent months. Over 400 have died, killed by other blacks and by security forces. 3 weeks ago, these 4 anti-apartheid campaigns is likely to point to a particularly brutal murder at another of today's funerals. Even as victims of previous violence were being buried in Deduza this afternoon, a woman accused of being a paid police informer was being horribly beaten and burnt to death by a frenzied crowd. Announcing the state of
Students said they'd continue their protest. They'll boycott classes next week.
The black police driver rammed one of his attackers against the side of a bus. Another of the black policemen fled, and later he could be seen in flames, where he'd been caught and killed by the mob.
Then for 2
President Boerter was unyielding and warned of worse to come.
Inflation fell last month to 6%.
Stick your window! I shouldn't think Harold...
Toasters, you hit the roof and then you spin all round. Pop up, pop up, pop up toasters. What Maggie needs is a pop up toaster. Stick her head in and see her roaster. Then she won't be so much of a boaster about being the colour of a new straw boater. You go in white and you come out brown. Pop up, pop up, pop pop-up toasters. You hit the roof and then you spin all round. Pop-up, pop-up, pop-up toasters. You can keep your rubbers and your old-style preachers, social workers and comprehensive teachers, politicians and the sorts of slimy creatures. I owe my allegiance to Morphy Richards. All right, everybody, now obviously you can't solve the world's racial problems by singing along with a simplistic lyric contained in a...
Several thousand people tried to move out of townships to join the march, but the police response to any formation of a crowd was swift. The idea of a mass march seemed increasingly unlikely as a line of police wielding shamboks faced groups, here mainly Muslim, defying the law by congregating and singing. The police commander's response, the order, go in and clean up. Time after time, the police charged, first one way, then another. Among the arrests, a former head of the Methodist Church in South Africa and several university lecturers.
Don't touch me!
Trouble has been breaking out here sporadically for weeks and surfaced again today on a wider scale. Fires were started in several areas with reports of petrol bombs being thrown. The only march that was allowed to proceed more than a few steps towards Pollsmoor Prison was on the move far away from the townships. Forces have been stretched to contain crowds in several different areas of the city. They have been using the stern measures promised by the government, basing large sections of the community